Thank you for joining us. Today, we are digging into a pivotal moment on Capitol Hill where the confirmation hearing for Secretary Pete Hegseth took a dramatic and deeply consequential turn.
Thank you, Chairman Aguilar. I also want to add my sincere condolences to the family of Sarah Beckstrom, the National Guard soldier senselessly killed last week. And I also pray that Andrew Wolf, the other National Guard soldier fighting for his life, pulls through. As Chairman Aguilar has said, we have an affordability crisis. That's one reason Donald Trump is polling at the lowest level ever for a modern-day president at this point in a term, only 36% approval, over 60% disapproval. And for folks who shopped on Black Friday, last Friday, according to Salesforce, average prices across all products increased 7%. And then specifically for household goods, prices increased 24%. Things like furniture, appliances, dining, and decor all skyrocketed. And what is Donald Trump doing? He wants to make sure his Great Gatsby ballroom is as big as it can be. Trump and his rubber stamp Republicans are not focusing on the affordability crisis, and now we have healthcare costs skyrocketing. And if we don't extend the ACA tax credits, it's going to mean that millions of Americans are either going to lose health insurance or pay a lot more for the healthcare premiums. Now I'd like to talk about war crimes. Last week, Secretary Hegseth lied and denied media reports that the U.S. military ordered a second strike on defenseless shipwrecked survivors. Then yesterday, both the White House and Hegseth said actually it was Admiral Bradley who ordered the second strike. I served on active duty as a JAG for 4 years and then an additional 21 years in the reserves. And let me be very clear, killing shipwreck survivors is a war crime. The Pentagon's own Department of Defense law manual on the law of war literally says that, quote, orders to fire upon the shipwreck will be clearly illegal. The Department of Justice must conduct an investigation into the war crime and hold all those accountable, including Secretary Hegseth. He allegedly said, quote, kill them all. If the Trump administration does not hold the people accountable, I guarantee you a future administration will do so because there is no statute of limitations for war crimes. And now I have a message for the members of the United States military. Thank you for your service to our great nation. And for those of us who served, we know that we all followed a code of conduct. And part of that code of conduct is to not lie and to accept responsibility. Unfortunately, the head of the Department of Defense, Secretary Hegseth, engaged in dishonorable conduct. He stated on national TV, quote, I watched it live. We knew exactly who was in that boat. And instead of accepting responsibility for what happened, Hegseth chose to throw Admiral Bradley under the bus. Shame on Pete Hegseth. He is a coward. He must resign. You deserve better.
What unfolded was not simply political theater. It was a rare instance in which a member of Congress used their time to frame an issue that reaches far beyond Washington, touching on affordability, public trust, national security, and even the laws of war. If you value clear, honest breakdowns of stories that matter, remember to subscribe for more in-depth reporting. The hearing began with a somber tone. Lawmakers offered condolences to the family of National Guard soldier Sarah Beckstrom, killed just last week, and prayers for Andrew Wolf, another service member fighting for his life. It was a human reminder that public policy and national defense are never abstract. They shape real families and real futures. That context is important because what followed was a sharp warning about an affordability crisis gripping households across the country. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so you do not miss our follow-up on the economic side of this story. In laying out the economic backdrop, the senator pointed to new data from Black Friday showing a 7% rise in average prices across products and a 24% jump in household goods like furniture and appliances. That is not a minor shift. For many Americans, it is a direct hit to quality of life. The senator argued that while prices soar, the administration is prioritizing personal luxury projects rather than policy solutions that could ease the burden on working families. Whether viewers agree or disagree politically, the larger point is that affordability is becoming one of the most defining issues shaping public opinion. And according to polling cited during the hearing, voter dissatisfaction is growing. These details matter because they help explain the urgency and the frustration seen in these hearings. If you appreciate breakdowns that add clarity to complex issues, please take a second to subscribe. The conversation then shifted to another escalating concern: the potential expiration of ACA tax credits, which millions rely on to keep health insurance that is remotely affordable. Without those credits, premiums could surge and fewer Americans would be able to maintain coverage. This was not framed as a hypothetical. It was laid out as an approaching collision between policy delay and public impact. This hearing was not just about Hegseth. It was about the ripple effects of decisions made far from the people who eventually feel them. Stay with us and subscribe if you want more updates on healthcare policy as the situation unfolds. But everything changed when the senator turned to allegations of a war crime linked to a U.S. military strike. The tone became sharper, heavier, and deeply personal. As a former military lawyer, the senator reminded the room that international law is not vague on this point. Shipwreck survivors are protected persons under the law of war. The Pentagon's own manual explicitly states that firing on shipwrecked individuals is clearly illegal. This is the kind of moment that demands context because many viewers may not know how strict and long-standing these rules are. They come from the lessons of past conflicts where lines were crossed with devastating consequences. The senator accused Secretary Hegseth of initially denying the second strike, later shifting blame onto Admiral Bradley, and allegedly using language that, if proven, could carry serious legal implications. And unlike many offenses, there is no statute of limitations for war crimes. If you value reporting that connects past, present, and future accountability, remember to subscribe for ongoing coverage. The senator then addressed service members directly. It was a reminder that military culture rests on integrity, responsibility, and a code of conduct that shapes every decision on and off the battlefield. The allegation is that Hegseth violated those principles not only through the incident itself, but through dishonesty in its aftermath. In the senator's view, the refusal to accept responsibility was more than a political failing. It was dishonorable conduct and grounds for resignation. Whether one agrees or disagrees, the weight of the accusation reflects the seriousness of the role the Secretary of Defense holds. These hearings are not symbolic. They are mechanisms of trust. If you want continued coverage that explains what these developments mean for the military and for the country, make sure to subscribe. This hearing was a reminder that national leadership is not just about strategy or politics. It is about values. It is about accountability. And it is about telling the truth, even when the truth is costly.